Now every evening about this time, you get the lamb races. Now when they really get to running, it's fun to watch them race, watch them jump. There's something I try to do every time I catch them doing these lamb races like this is take advantage of it. And let's see which lambs are not really participating. Those are the lambs you know just don't feel as good. Now you done lost your mama. That's what you're worried about, ain't it? It looks like tonight everybody's participating pretty well. What they're confused about is where their mamas went. Well, the weather's warming up a little bit. The grass is starting to green up. The grass is really probably not ready to put the ewes on it. But my sacrifice area up there where I've got them, I've had them partly through the winter where I've turned them out after they had their lambs. That's getting pretty bad. So I need to get those lambs out of there. I think the ewes will be okay in that area and just keep feeding them some hay for another probably couple of weeks, and this grass would be in real good shape. But I don't want to leave the lambs up there where it is getting pretty muddy and nasty. I need to get them out of there because I worry about the coccidia that they pick up in that type of environment. So if I could get them out on some clean grass and things, they'll just be a whole lot better off. So my plan is to set up some paddocks like I've done in the past, come across the pasture. They'll be fairly small paddocks, and I'm going to try to move them pretty quick. Probably leave them no more than a day on each paddock and let them take the tops off of this grass and move on. And maybe by the time I get around to coming back to this part of it, the grass will really be in good shape. So it's close enough to springtime, time to start my pasture rotation and see what we can do for these lambs. Well, the girls are definitely ready. You're probably gonna have to listen to them holler while I get this fence set up. Now let's see how much luck I have getting this section of fence down before the ewes just run through it and I can get it hot. Probably not going to have much success. You girls are ready, aren't you? Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'll go across it and you can hook in your foot. Well, one of the major goals here wasn't just to get the ewes on some grass, but to get the lambs off of this used up feedlot. And being lambs, they like to stay where they're at, what they're familiar with. Now, knowing what I know about lambs, my chances of driving them over here to the ewes are just about zero. So I think my best bet is try to bring the ewes back and then drive them all over here together. So let's give that a try. Yeah, sheep. Yeah, sheep. Yeah, sheep. Yeah, sheep. There it is. All right. Now I think everybody's happy. Through the years, I have figured out the chances of driving lambs somewhere is just about zero. But they will follow their mamas. Well, it's actually the next day now, and I turned these sheep out on this paddock over here. It's probably been 20 hours, and I don't know if the camera's going to show it. I can tell a big difference where they have eaten for 20 hours and where they have not. They've eaten this down really a little more than I wanted to, but they haven't overeaten it. But it is time to get them off of it. I'm gonna put them on this next paddock, and I'm gonna rotate them across here pretty quick because there's not a lot of grass, but the grass is starting to grow and they need to get on some cleaner pasture, particularly with these lambs. So I think it was a good time to get them started. Before I put these ewes over on this next paddock, I need to get them up and give them a treatment. My standard protocol when the lambs are born is to deworm the ewes and then turn them out of the jugs. In the spring, when the lambs are born, that's when the parasites really bloom inside those ewes and they start putting a ton of eggs out on the pasture, which then you're going to have to deal with all summer long. So it's a good idea to try to cut that down at the beginning, and I think it helps alleviate a lot of the problems throughout the year. But this year, instead of deworming the ewes when I turned them out, I'm going to try a little different protocol. Now that pretty much all the ewes have had their lambs, the spring's here, the grass is starting to grow, I'm going to get the ewes up and I'm going to give them a treatment with a COWP, had to think of the name there for a minute, copper oxide wire particle. It's just a bolus, a pill basically, that you can give them, and that will kill out the worms that are in them, and hopefully that is enough to cut down on my worm load as I'm rotating through here, and hopefully do a better job of rotating than I normally do. But so before I get the ewes up and put them on this next paddock, I want to be sure and treat them with that copper oxide wire particle. And that way those worm eggs won't be starting out on my pasture. So let's get the ewes up, give them their treatment, and get them back out here on some grass. Well, I've still got these 3 girls that are holding out on me. Surely they're gonna have some lambs here in, oh, within a week, I would think, surely. According to their mark, they should be this week. But while I've got them up here, I'm gonna go ahead and give them the copper oxide wire particle also, and that way I know everything has been done. There we go. That's where we want it.
Papa, can I pull the string down whenever you let this go? Whenever you let this guy go?
Probably.
Is that messing for him?
Mm-hmm. Pull it. Let go, let go, let go.
Let go.
Yeah, you gotta let go quick so the next one don't get out.
Yeah. Okay. Papa, how about you put them on and then whenever it's ready I can pull it down?
Mm-hmm.
I think I could do it by myself.
So. Well, let's try to get them 2 later. Well, if I've kept my days straight, I think this is day 3 on this video. I did get the extra paddocks set up out here on this field, so I think we're good to go there for, oh, another 2 days probably on that. The ewes that are holding out on me and don't want to let go of their lambs are out here on the ryegrass that I had planted. And the rams are over on the other field over here. So today is probably going to be the busiest day. What I would like to get done, and I may not, is get the rams up, check their feet, trim them up if they need it, because they haven't been looked at for a while. Then load them up, take them to the summer pasture, where there's probably more grass over there than there is anywhere right now, but that will also kind of just get them out of the way while I rotate the ewes across here, including across the pasture where the rams are now. But before I can take the rams over to the summer pasture, I've got to go over there, check the fence, make sure it's good. I need to get my solar fence charger, make sure it's ready to go. I should have plugged it in yesterday and charged it, but I didn't get that done. But I need to get it over there, make sure that fence is hot, and they're going to be able to stay in that. Get them some water over there. So I've actually got some preparation to do before I get anything done. And it's looking like rain, and they're calling for some pretty severe thunderstorms this evening, so I better get busy. Now the fence down this side of the field is actually a good fence. There's a good woven wire fence inside all that brush and trees and everything down there. Along the back of this field though, there is a, oh, it's 4 or 5 strand barbed wire fence. There's some pieces of woven wire fence left in there, but it's not enough to hold the sheep in. That's why I've ran these 3 hot wires here on the inside of it. And this is why I want to go around and check the fence before I put stock in here. It looks like down along this fence there are 2 or 3 places where some limbs have blown out of trees and got the fence down. Guess I've got more work to do than I thought. That's pretty well got everything cut back and off the fence. I think the fence will be fine. The issue I've got is the wood that I cut. I don't have time today to get all this mess cleaned up. It's too windy to try to burn it. Most of it's too green to try to burn. So I'm going to have to take care of that later. But the trees that I cut, like this, that's actually a wild cherry tree. And wild cherries are poisonous. The cherries themselves are okay. The fruit, you can't eat the seed of it. The bark, the leaves, everything else about the tree is poisonous. I don't think the rams would really bother that, but being springtime and the sap just coming up in the trees good, that might be a little bit sweet, and they would like to chew on that and lick on it. Now, some of the other trees that I cut are just cedar, and I think there's a little elm tree I cut some branches off of. So I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to run me another hot wire outside of this. I'll kind of kick some of it over a little bit, and I'll just run me another hot wire outside this to keep the rams off of it till I get a chance to come back and clean it up. Always more work. So it's hard to do much videoing in this wind. Right now it's a little bit calm. So all I've done, if it'll show in the video, I ran 2 strands of hot wire temporarily around all this brush that's out here. Well, that's just done because I don't have time to get all that cleaned up right now. I'm afraid the sap rising up in those wild cherry trees might taste a little bit sweet. I don't know, but I don't want the rams to decide they want to lick on them or chew on them, because that stuff can be fairly poisonous. Luckily, my sheep are pretty well broke to a hot wire, so I don't think there's really any danger of them going through it. Besides that, they've got plenty of grass out here to eat, and they've got other spots along here they can go get in the shade if they want to. So the fence charger I'm using on this is this Prima Shock 8. It's an 8 joule output AC DC powered charger. I'm going to run it off of this 12-volt battery, and it does pretty good off of that. But you do have the option to plug it into the wall if you've got 120 volts available. This battery, I've got a couple of these batteries, and they'll last, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks. It's like something like that, depending on how much draw you have on the fence, how much stuff is touching it. But I do have a little solar panel I can put on here to help keep that going longer. But we're supposed to get some storms tonight, possible hail, and I don't want to put the solar panel out if I suspect there might be hail coming. So this is running 7,000 volts. I got 12.2 volts coming out of the battery, and I am pulsing this every 1.5 seconds. There's quite a few settings on these things you can mess with, but that seems to work pretty good. I think 7,000 volts will be enough for these adult rams that are broke to a fence and have plenty of feed. And I just keep these I keep these in these battery boxes that you can get at pretty much any auto supply store. That keeps them out of the weather a little bit. Come on, you can do it. No, you can do it. Come on. Goodness, you're the one I thought would load best. There Well, I forgot to turn the camera on while I unloaded them. They've got several acres of decent grass here. It's not quite where I would like it to be, but for 3 of them, I think the grass is going to get ahead of them pretty quick. Well, that's going to be it for this video. We've got the ewes on their new paddock. We've got the 3 holdout ewes out there on their ryegrass. We've got this ewe here in here with her triplets. She's got water and grass, or she's got water and hay, and I'm feeding her a fair amount of extra grain. I've got a creep area set up for the lambs so they can get some grain. We got creep area out here for these lambs so they can get some grain. Remember, I've already said it, the rams are over on their summer pasture with water. I think that's it for the day. So you all have a good day. I appreciate you joining me on the video. If you would, hit that subscribe button and the like button. I appreciate it. And see you on the next one.